Chapter 1. He lay flat on the brown, pine needle floor of the forest, his chin on his folded arms, and height overhead the wind blew in the tops of the pine trees. The mountainside sloped gently where he lay, but below it was steep, and he could see the dark of the oil road winding through the pass. There was a stream along the road, and far down the pass he saw a mill beside the stream and the falling water of the dam, white in the summer light. "Is that the mill?" he asked. "Yes. I do not remember it. It was built since you were here. The old mill is farther down, much below the pass." He spread the photostated military map out of the forest floor and looked at it carefully. The old man looked over his shoulder. He was short and solid old man in a black peasant smock and grey iron stiff trousers, and he wore rope-soled shoes. He was breathing heavily from the climbing, and his hand rested on one of the two heavy packs they had been carrying. "Then you cannot see the bridge from here." "No," the old man said. "This is the easy country of the pass, where the stream flows gently. Below, where the road turns out of sight in the trees, it drops suddenly, and there is a steep gorge. I remember. Across this gorge is the bridge." "And where are there posts?" "There is a post at the mill that you see there." The young man, who was studying the country, took his glasses from the pocket of his faded khaki flannel shirt, wiped the lenses with a handkerchief, screwed the eyepieces around until the boards of the mill showed suddenly clearly, and he saw the wooden bench beside the door, the huge pile of sawdust stretched of the that rose behind the open shed where the circular saw was, and a stretch of the flume that brought the logs down from the mountainside and the other bank of the stream. The stream showed clear and smooth looking in the glasses, and below the curl of the falling water the spray from the dam was blowing in the wind. "There is no sentry. There is smoke coming from the mill house," the old man said. "There are also clothes hanging on a line." "I see them. I do not see any sentry." "Perhaps he is in the shade," the old man explained. "It is hot there now. He could be in the shadow at the end we do not see." "Probably. Where is the next post?" "Below the bridge. It is at the road mender's hut, a kilometer 5 from the top of the pass." "How many men are here?" He pointed at the mill. "Perhaps 4, and a corporal." "Corporal? And below?" "More. I will find out." "And at the bridge?" "Always 2, one at each end." "We will need a certain number of men," he said. "How many men can we get?" "I can bring as many men as you wish," the old man said. "There are many men now here in the hills." "How many?" "There are more than 100, but they are in small bands." "How many men will you need?" "I will let you know when we have studied the bridge." "Do you wish to study it now?" "No. Now I wish to go to where we will hide this explosive until it is time. I would like to have it hidden in utmost security at a distance no greater than half an hour from the bridge, if that is possible." "That is simple. the old man said. From where we're going, it will all be downhill to the bridge. But now we must climb a little in seriousness to get there. Are you hungry? Yes, the young man said, but we will eat later. Are you cold? I have forgotten. I have forgotten. It was a bad sign to him that he had forgotten. Anselmo, the old man said, I am called Anselmo, and I come from Barco de Avila. Let me help you with that pack. The young man, who was tall and thin, with sun-streaked fair hair and a wind and sun-burned face, who wore the sun-faded flannel shirt, a pair of peasant trousers and road-sole shoes, leaned over, put his arm through one of the leather pack straps, and swung the heavy pack up onto his shoulders. He worked his arm through the other strap and settled the weight of the pack against his back. His shirt was still wet from where the pack had rested. I have it up now, he said. How do we go? We climb, Anselmo said, bending under the weight of the packs. Sweating, they climbed steadily in the pine forest that covered the mountainside. There was no trail that the young men could see, but they were working up and around the face of the mountains, and now they crossed a small stream, and the old man went steadily on ahead up the edge of the rocky stream bed. The climbing now was steeper and more difficult until finally the stream seemed to drop down over the edge of a smooth granite ledge that rose above them, and the old man waited at the foot of the ledge for the young man to come up to him. How how are you making it? All right, the young man said. He was sweating heavily and his tight muscles were twitching from the steepness of the climb. Wait here now for me. I go ahead to warn them. You do not want to be shot at carrying that stuff. Not even in a joke, the young man said. Is it far? It is very close. How do they call thee? Roberto. The young man answered. He had slipped the pack off and lowered it gently between two boulders by the stream bed. Wait here, then, Roberto, and I will return to you. Good, the young man said. But do you plan to go down this way to the bridge? No. When we go to the bridge, it will be by another way, shorter and easier. I do not know. I do not want this material to be stored too far from the bridge. You will see. If you are not if you're not satisfied, we will take another place. We will see, the young man said. He sat by the packs and watched the old man climb the ledge. It was not hard to climb, and from the way he found handholds without searching for them, the young man could see that he had climbed it many times before. Yet whoever was above had been very careful not to leave any trail. The young man, whose name was Roberto Jordan, was extremely hungry, and he was worried. He was often hungry, but he was not usually worried because he did not give any importance to what happened to himself, and he knew from experience how simple it was to move behind the enemy lines in all this country. It was as simple to move behind them as it was to cross through them. If you had a good guide, it was only given importance to what happened to you if you were caught that made it difficult. That and deciding whom to trust. You had to trust the people you work with completely or not at all. and you had to make decisions about the trusting. He was not worried about any of that, but there were other things. This Anselmo had been a good guide, and he could travel wonderfully in the mountains. Roberto Jordan could walk well enough himself, and he knew from following him since before daylight that the old man could only walk him to death. Roberto Jordan trusted the man, Anselmo so far in everything except judgment. He had not yet had an opportunity to test his judgment, and any way to judgment was his own responsibility. No, he did not worry about Anselmo, and the problem of the bridge was no more difficult than many other problems. He knew how to blow any sort of bridge that you could name, and he had blown them of all sizes and constructions. There was enough explosive and all equipment in the two packs to blow this bridge properly, even if it were twice as big as Anselmo reported it, as he remembered it when he had walked over it on his way to La Granja on a walking trip in 1933, and as Goals had read him the description of it night before last in the upstairs room in the house outside the Escorial. To blow the bridge is nothing, Gold had said, the lamplight on his care shaped head pointing with a pencil on the big map. You understand? Yes, I understand. Absolutely nothing. Merely to blow the bridge is a failure. Yes, comrade general. To blow the bridge at a stated hour based on the time set for the attack is how it should be done. You see that naturally that is your right and how it should be done. Golds looked at the pencil, then tapped his teeth with it. Roberto Jordan had said nothing. You understand that is your right and how it should be done. Golds went on looking at him and nodding his head. He tapped on the map with the pencil. That is how I should do it. That is what we cannot have. Why, Comrade General? Why? Gold said angrily. How many attacks have you seen and you ask me why? What is the guarantee that my orders what is the guarantee that my orders not change? What is the guarantee that the attack is not annulled? What is the guarantee that the attack is not postponed? What is the guarantee that it starts within 6 hours of when it should start? Has any attack ever been as it should? It will start on time if it is your attack, Robert Jordan said. They are never my attacks, Wall said. I make them, but they are not mine. Their artillery is not mine. It must put it for it. I have never been given what I asked for even when they had it to give. That is the least of it. There are other things you know how those people are. It is not necessary to go into all of it. Always there is something. Always someone will interfere. So now be sure you understand. So when is the bridge to be blown? Robert Jordan had asked. After the attack starts, as soon as the attack has started and not before, so that no reinforcements will come up over that road. He pointed with his pencil. I must know that nothing would come up over that road. And when is the attack? I will tell you, but you are to use the date and hour only as an indication of a probability. You must be ready for that time. You will blow the bridge after the attack has started, you see. He indicated with a pencil. That is the only road on which they can get up. tanks or artillery, or even move a truck toward the pass, which I attack. I must know that bridge is gone, not before, so it can be repaired if the attack is postponed. No, it must go when the attack starts, and I must know it is gone. There are only two sentries. The man who will go with you has just come from there. He is a very reliable man, they say. You will see. He has people in the mountains. Get as many men as you need. Use as few as possible, but use enough. I do not have to tell you these things. And how do I determine that the attack has started? It is to be made with a full division. There will be an aerial bombardment as preparation. You are not deaf, are you? Then I may take it that when the planes unload, the attack has started. You will not always take it like that, Gold said, and shook his head. But in this case, you may. It is my attack. I understand it, Robert Jordan had said. I do not say I like it very much. Neither do I like it very much. If you do not want to undertake it, say so now. If you think you cannot do it, say so now. I will do it, Robert Jordan had said. I will do it all right. That is all I have to know, Gold said. That nothing comes up over that bridge. That is absolute. I understand. I do not like to ask people to do such things and in such a way, Golds went on. I could not order you to do it. I understand what you may be forced to do through me, to my putting such conditions. I explained very carefully so that you understand and that you understand all the possible difficulties and the importance. And how will you advance on La Granja if that bridge is blown? We go forward prepared to repair it after we have stormed the pass. It is a very complicated and beautiful operation, as complicated and as beautiful as always. The plan has been manufactured in Madrid. It is another of Vicente Rojo, the unsuccessful professor's masterpiece. I make the attack and I make it, as always, not insufficient force. It is a very possible operation in spite of that. I am much happier about it than usual. It can be successful with that breach eliminated. We can take Segovia. Look, I show you how it goes. You see? It is not to top of the pass where we attack. We hold that. It is much beyond. Look, here, like this. I would rather not know, Robert Jordan said. Good, said Gomes. It is less of a baggage to carry with you on the other side. Yes? It will always rather not know. I will always rather not know. Then, no matter what can happen, it was not me that talked. It is better not to know. Gold stroked his forehead with a pencil. Many times I wish I did not know myself, but you do know that one thing you must know about a bridge. Yes, I know that. I believe you do, Gold said. I will not make you any little any little speech. Let us know now. Have a drink. So much talking makes me very thirsty. Comrade Ordan, you have a funny name in Spanish. Comrade Ordan. How do you say gold in Spanish, Comrade General? Jose, said Goals, grinning, making the sound deep in his throat, and though Hawking with a bad cold. Hudson, he croaked. Comrade General, Comrade General Hudson. If I had known how they pronounce goals in Spanish, I would pick me out a better name before I come to war here. When I think I come to command a division and I can pick out any name I want, and I pick out Hotze, General Hotze. Now it's too late to change. How do you like partisan work? It was the Russian term for guerrilla. Guerrilla work behind the lines. Very much, Robert Jordan said. He grinned. It is a very healthy in the open air. I like it very much when I was your age too, Gold said. They tell me you blow bridges very well, very scientific. It is only hearsay. I have never seen you do anything myself. Maybe nothing ever happens really. You really blow them. He was teasing now. Drink this. He handed the glass of Spanish brandy to Robert Jordan. You really blow them. Sometimes. You better not have any sometimes on this bridge. No, let us talk any more. Let us not talk any more about this bridge. You understand enough now about the bridge. We are very serious, so we can make very strong jokes. Look, do you have many girls on the other side of the lines? No, there is no time for girls. I do not agree. The more irregular the service, the more irregular the life. You have very irregular service. Also, you need a haircut. I have my haircut as it needs it, Robert Jordan said. He will be damned if he will have his head shaved like ghosts. I have enough to think about without girls, he said sullenly. What sort of uniform am I supposed to wear? Robert Jordan asked. None, Gold said. Your haircut is all right. I tease you. You are very different from me, Gold had said and filled up the glasses again. You never think about only girls. I never think at all. Why should I? I am General Sovietic. I never think. Do not think to trap me into thinking. Some of his staff, sitting on a chair working over a map on a drawing board, growled at him in the language Robert Jordan did not understand. Shut up, Coles had said in English. I joke if I want. I am so serious is why I can joke. Now drink this and then go. You understand, huh? Yes, Robert Jordan had said, I understand. They had shaken hands, and he had saluted and gone out to the staff car where the old man was waiting, asleep, and in that car they had ridden over the road past Guadarrama. The old man still asleep, and up the Navasarada road and the Alpine Club hut where he, Robert Jordan, slept for 3 hours before they started. That was the last he had seen of Gold, with his strange white face that never tanned, his hawk eyes, the big nose and thin lips, and the shaven head crossed with wrinkles and with scars. Tomorrow night they will be outside the Escorial, in the dark along the road, the long lines of trucks loading the infantry in darkness. The men, heavy loaded, climbing up to the trucks, the machine guns sections lifting their guns into the trucks, the tanks being run up on the skids onto the long bodied tanks trucks, pulling the division out to move them in the night for the attack on the pass. He would not think about that. That was not bus- his business. That was Golds's business. He had only one thing to do, and that was what should think about, and he must think it out clearly and take everything as it came along and not worry. To worry was as bad as to be afraid. It simply made things more difficult. He sat now by the stream watching the clear water overflowing between the rocks, and across the stream he noticed there was a thick bed of watercress. He crossed the stream, picked a double handful, washed the muddy roots clean in the current, and then sat down again beside his pack and ate the clean, cool green leaves and the crisp, peppery tasting stalks. He kneeled by the stream and pushing his automatic pistol around on his belt to the small of his back so that it would not be wet. He lowered himself with a hand on each of the two shoulders of the two boulders and drank from the stream. The water was achingly cold. Pushing himself up on his hands, he turned his head and saw the old man coming down the ledge. With him was another man, also in a black peasant smock and the dark grey trousers that were almost uniform in that province, wearing rope slope shoes, rope slope, rope sole shoes, and with carbines slung over his back. This man was bareheaded. The two of them came scrambling down the rock like goats. They came up to him, and Robert Jordan got to his feet. Salud, camarada, he said to the man with the carbine and smiled. Salud, the other said grudgingly. Robert Jordan looked at the man's heavy beard's double face. It was almost round, and his head was round and set close on his shoulders. His eyes were small and set too wide apart, and his ears were small and set close to his head. He was a heavy man, about 5 feet 10 inches tall, and his hands and feet were large. His nose had been broken, and his mouth was cut at one corner, and the line of the scar across the upper lip and lower jaw showed through the growth of beard over his face. The old man nodded his head, and the man at this man and smiled. He is the boss here. He grinned, then flexed his arms as though to make the muscles stand out and look at the man with the carbine in his half mocking admiration. A very strong man. I can see it, Robert Jordan said and smiled again. He did not look. He did not like the look of this man, and inside himself he was not smiling at all. What have you justified your identity? Asked the man with the carbine. Robert Jordan unpinned a safety pin that ran through his pocket flap and took a folded paper out of the left breast pocket of his flannel shirt and handed it to the man, who opened it, looked at it doubtfully, and turned it in his hands. So you cannot read, Robert Jordan noted. Look at the seal, he said. The old man pointed to the seal, and the man with the carbine studied, turning it in his fingers. What seal is that? Have you never seen it? No, there are two, said Robert Jordan. One is the SIM, the Service of the Military Intelligence. The other is the General Staff. Yes, I have seen them. I have seen that seal before, but here no one commands but me. The other said solely. What have you in the packs? Dynamite. The old man said proudly. The last night we crossed that lines in the dark, and all day we have carried this dynamite over down the mountain. I can use dynamite, said the man with the carbine. He handed back the paper to Robert Jordan and looked him over. Yes, I use dynamite. How much have you brought me? I have brought you no dynamite, Robert Jordan said to him evenly. The dynamite is for another purpose. What is your name? What is that to you? He's Pablo, said the old man. The man with the carbine looked at them both sullenly. Good. I have heard much good of you, said Robert Jordan. What have you heard of me? Asked Pablo. I have heard that you are an excellent guerrilla leader, that you are loyal to the Republic and prove your loyalty throughout your acts, and that you are a man both serious and valiant. I bring you greetings from the General Staff. Where did you hear all of this? Asked Pablo. Robert Jordan registered that he was not taking any of the flattery. I heard it from Huitrago to the Escorial, he said, naming all the stretch of the country on the other side of the lines.